Good evening, Facebook, and welcome to Manifesting Monday. I just finished writing an article that is soon to be published in the Colorado Bar Association magazine, and I wanted to share some pointers that I put in that article. So there were three things that I talked about, and actually the name of the article is what I really loved is Are You Your Own Nonprofit? And the three things that I shared in this article was first, creating healthy boundaries. I think a lot of times we as lawyers, as well as people that are in professional businesses, don't set enough boundaries. And the first thing I talked about in the article was know yourself. And knowing yourself is the key to actually creating and maintaining good boundaries. If you know what your emotional, mental, and physical limits are, you'll learn to distinguish the difference between what feels good and what leads you to something that's potentially uncomfortable and outside of your boundaries. The next is increasing your emotional IQ, and in assessing what your limits are, you have the ability to feel the range of different emotions. And two key emotions that typically signal that your boundaries are being crossed are that there's some sort of resentment or discomfort. And if you feel you're being taken advantage of, not appreciated, or even being exploited, those are definitely signs that your boundaries have been pushed and that it is really okay for you to say no and establish those boundaries once again. And give yourself permission to enforce your boundaries. Again, like I said, it is absolutely okay to say no. In fact, a lot of times it's necessary for your self-respect to maintain your boundaries and refuse a request that leaves you feeling used or unappreciated. And there is no room for guilt or self-doubt when it comes to you and your boundaries or in your professional practice. And having clear boundaries and sticking to them is not selfish. A lot of times people think that when they create a boundary that they're actually being selfish. And by you taking care of yourself, that is actually not being selfish, and it's allowing you to be more self-caring, as well as to give in the areas that you really do appreciate. Because when you put yourself first, you're ensuring that you have the energy to do the things that you want to do and be there for the people that you want to be with. The next thing I talked about is be clear with what's up for negotiation. Like, what's an absolute deal breaker? What are you willing to accept and not accept? And know what you need to stay happy and healthy, whether it's your daily walk, going to the gym, maybe doing meditation. Make it clear that these are things that are non-negotiable, parts of your daily schedule that you're not willing to compromise. And staying solution focused. Offer what you're willing to contribute to projects or to work or time away from your friends and family or events or even family gatherings. You know, a lot of times, especially women, we feel like it's our job to, have the family gathering and do Thanksgiving and Christmas and Easter or whatever holidays you honor. And a lot of times people are resentful about that. So you have the ability to say no and have the leverage. And you should really be direct when you're setting your boundaries. You don't need to share that there's some sort of an excuse or a backstory or a note from your mother. You can just be very direct and leave it at that. You can be polite and kind, yet you can still be very direct and stay strong in your boundaries. Another thing, and this is the key point, is are you being productive or are you just being busy? And a lot of times we see people that are just like running around and woo busy, yet they're really not being productive. And, I sometimes feel like I'm really woo busy. And at the end of the day, I'm like, what did I actually get accomplished? I did a lot of running around, yet what did those things get me to move towards my goals and my vision? what things move towards that, or was it just busy work? And I was, ultimately multitasking, yet I wasn't being productive and getting things complete. And the more productive and more focused on doing one thing at a time potentially is better and actually completing the project. You can become overwhelmed if you give yourself an unrealistic number of things to complete in the day, and ultimately they'll just get moved to the task list for the next day if they don't get completed. You also need to be realistic about what you can accomplish in any given amount of time. I know for me, a lot of times I put a lot of things on my to-do list, and unfortunately there's only 24 hours in the day. I need to sleep, I need to work out, and I need to eat, and a lot of times not everything gets done, so then it moves to the higher priority list the next day. Hey Andrew, to the next day, so that I can complete the things that I am wanting to complete. And one of the things that I really focus on daily is, my philosophy is do, dump, or delegate. Is it something I really need to do? Is it something that I need to dump maybe today or forever? And the last thing is, do I need to delegate it? Is there somebody else that would be better served doing that project? Whether it be somebody I know, somebody who works in that industry. Is it taking time away from me in what I should mostly be focused on and what I'm good at? And so I definitely think about that when I look at my task list. Is it something I need to do? Is it something I need to dump, or do I need to delegate it? And I think if you focus on that, it will definitely make your day way more productive. And something that is also helpful, if you just want to, draw 3 lines down a piece of paper and have a do, dump, and delegate column, and put the things in there that you want to work on, like I said, dump or delegate. And when you spend your time being very busy, you are not actually accomplishing much, and you might feel some sort of anxiety, or you will feel potentially overwhelmed. You worry about things that aren't getting done. And sometimes you'll find that there are things that you want to do for your business that aren't necessarily critical at the time. So don't forget to give yourself the time to work on the projects you actually enjoy, when you can then make yourself feel happy and fulfilled, and you will ultimately be more productive. And the last thing that I shared in this article is, what do you really truly enjoy? Life is short, and I think a lot of times, I know myself, I spend time doing a lot of work, and unfortunately forget to smell the roses and enjoy what my passion is and what brings me happiness. And you should never compromise your own passion and true happiness for others. So I encourage you to make a list of the 10 things that you're truly passionate about, and encourage you to take some steps, if not daily, at least weekly, to move towards those things that really bring you true happiness and go towards your passion. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any comments, please leave them below. I love to share what I'm working on. And there goes my dogs. What I am working on and what is helpful for me and moving towards my goals and my dreams. And I hope that this has been helpful for you. And make sure you turn in next week, Monday, for another episode of Manifesting Monday, and see what you can learn and move you towards your goals and dreams for 2019. Have a fantastic week.